Hey, you. This is my junkyard, and this is my total gem. I found it first, so why don't you get lost? Why, you? Just because you said that, I'm gonna steal your clothes before I bury you.
Fuck you, asshole.
Give me your pants and tell me what year it is.
What the fuck? 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 Tetanus. Tetanus. Tetanus.
Ow. That actually kind of hurt.
Alright, that's it. Precision strike, asshole.
You motherfucker!
Finally. Now that was a close one. Okay, time to loot the place and save. What the fuck?
Hello. Oh, we're gonna win this thing. Oh, we just lost. What? God, son of a bitch! Wasteland, the forgotten godfather of all post-apocalyptic games. Released in 1988 to critical acclaim, this relic from long past inspired the most well-known series in the genre, Fallout, nearly a whole decade later, but since then, popularity shifted from Wasteland to Fallout as that series boomed instantly and then became the mainstream when Fallout 3 was released in 2008. For over 20 years, Wasteland as a series remained stagnant, with a one-hit wonder, until Wasteland 2 was successfully crowdfunded in 2012 and was released 2 years after. It evolved the gameplay by inheriting XCOM's tactical combat and cover system instead of the old Phantasy Star turn system that was in the first game. It was mostly a big enough success that in 2016 it was announced that the third game was in the works. And out of nowhere, earlier this year, a remaster for the first game came out. But enough of this history lesson. Let's move on to the damn review already. You know, what the title of the video says. In a nutshell, the basic story arc of the series involves a group of desert rangers aiding humanity against the onslaught of rogue AI. I know, sounds very familiar, right? Even while the premise may seem unoriginal at first thought, what this series does amazingly well is connecting lore and how it explains everything to fill the blanks between games. Wasteland 3 is no exception here. It also brings back many familiar faces we all know and love, some from recent years and, well, some from way back in 1988. Here, the Rangers travel north to Colorado from Arizona to aid a disgruntled patriarch, which I'm guessing at this point in time is like the man who governs all of Colorado, in capturing his 3 crazy-as-fuck kids before they have a chance to dethrone him in exchange for delivering food, water, and resources to struggling communities back home. The rest of the story after that, though, is entirely up to you. Do you follow orders and bring them back alive? Do you want to piss him off by killing them instead? Or would you rather rebel and side with a certain fan-favorite character to dethrone him yourself and rebuild Colorado Springs? Here, the brilliance of Wasteland 3 even more so than its two predecessors, is the freedom of choice and action to do just about anything you want to alter the course and outcome of each mission, and ultimately the whole game. And one of the many big improvements this game has made is the general management of missions you'll agree to take on, by neatly organizing them to let you know which missions are above or below your current level. There's also a faction reputation page that shows you your current standings with different factions. Um, and just to put it out there, you cannot please everyone in the game. Believe me, I tried. There will always be something to do for one faction that opposes another's goals, so just keep that in mind. I love how the skill checks in this one got rid of that bullshit success chance from 2, and instead replaced it with a simple skill check requirement. No more wondering if a 90% chance to succeed in a lockpick or an explosive disarm will still blow up in your face. Here, it's either you can't do it, or you can and will, depending on how high that skill is currently set at, compared to the needed skill level. It's very similar to how Fallout New Vegas replaced Fallout 3's chance crap with just a simple skill check. I also noticed how the different skills in this game are way more simplified and not as overwhelming. For instance, in Wasteland 2, there were way too many different skills to keep track of. Each gun had its own skill set. Blades and blunt weapons were separate. Lockpicking and safe cracking were separate. Field medic and surgeon were separate. There were like fucking 3 different speech types. Here, it's more condensed and just easier to keep track of for the most part. Assault rifles, submachine guns, energy weapons, they all fall under automatics. Pistols and shotguns both fall under small guns. Big guns include both heavy machine guns and rocket launchers. Melee weapons cover both blades and blunt weapons. Sniper rifles are still its own thing just because they don't really fit in anything. Scout weapons, I guess. I don't know, whatever. It's sniper rifles. But there's no more safe cracking. Field medic and surgeon are now fused into just first aid, and they got rid of smartass and just had it be hardass and kissass. Hardass for intimidating and kissass for appeasing. So, well, by contrast, smartass is just kind of a comic derivative to those two peaceful solutions. There are a few stupid exceptions here in this game where the speech options lead to combat anyway, no matter what. Um, each skill tree also has their own optional perks to choose from every other level the more you level up that skill tree. I also want to point out that the game introduces armor modding, so now there is both that and weapon modding skills as opposed to just weapon smithing. And also mods stay on the weapon or armor for good this time around, unless of course you buy a perk that gives you a chance to get mods back when field stripping that stuff that you don't use anymore. Now it's on to the combat. The fun part, and another aspect that is a clear improvement over the last game. Once again, we have that tactical, strategy, turn-based, take cover and shoot gameplay like XCOM, only now you can use points left over for end turn abilities. For only one leftover action point, you can go into defense mode, which lets you hunker down to decrease the chances of getting hit, or if you are not yet in range of the enemy and you don't want to be the one to get too close, you can set up an ambush with the AP equivalent of attacking for when an enemy moves within range. Basically, this is like the game's Overwatch mode, and thank God we finally have it because it really does come in handy here. There's also a kind of VATS mode where you can build up your special ability gauges with successive attacks, and then you can target different body parts with a guaranteed hit and a higher chance of a critical. You can even target flamethrower fuel tanks with the chance of igniting it and burning everyone alive near it. With turrets and other robotic enemies, you could target the CPU for a chance to have it switch sides and target your enemies instead of your team. There's also like an area of effect power move with the melee user, um, a super powerful shotgun blast, or even crazier shit like sending a devastating barrage of bullets with LMGs and SMGs. In most cases, when fighting outside, you can use your trustworthy Kodiak tank to really help even the odds. I love the Kodiak. You can upgrade its main gun and cannon, customize certain things like its hood ornament or its horn. Similar to controlling a squad mate, the Kodiak also has the end turn abilities like defense and ambush. But the most satisfying thing, perhaps in all of Wasteland 3, is being able to run over and squash just about anyone for a cheap insta-kill. It doesn't get any better than this. Unless, of course, you're a pyromaniac. Now that I think about it, having the Kodiak by your side half the time probably explains why you can only have 6 people in your party instead of 7 like the other two games. But you can also have other non-controllable NPCs and animals follow you around, and can even level up with you if they stay with you long enough and keep on surviving through encounters. One time near the end, I even got a walking toaster that shot fireballs out of itself. Don't ask me how or why I got it, or why this even exists, or how any of this even remotely makes any sense. All I know is I love it. It's so bizarre and stupid. The last thing I love about the combat in Wasteland 3 is the ability to see your pre-line of sight before making your move, and the hit percentage that you could have when you move to that location. This was so helpful, and I feel like if I went back to Wasteland 2, it would probably spoil it for me, you know? I would get used to this. Very helpful right here. Very tactical. It actually makes it feel more strategy based than most XCOM games. The only thing I really hate about the combat is that sometimes it will feel a little unfair. There were more than a few times when I missed a sniper ambush shot, even though it said I had like a 95% chance. But hey, that's XCOM, baby! The open world map consists of you driving around in your Kodiak, occasionally running into radiation walls that you will need to upgrade your vehicle's chassis for, as well as running into random enemy encounters. This time, it gives you a handful of options instead of just 2. With no survival skill, you have just a small chance to escape, with a high risk of getting attacked first. With enough survival skill, you can guarantee a safe escape. You can also choose to defend yourself, or with the right amount of another skill like sneak, you will be able to be the first to set up an ambush and have the first turn. While exploring, you will also come across some randomly spawned abandoned camps to either recuperate, repair your tank, or search for items, as well as coming across some old abandoned little bunkers for loot. There are also trailer merchants that you can trade with. Unless they are involved with a certain faction that hates you, then they just, give you the middle finger and leave. A lot of interior areas have some puzzles that require the team to disband, where one person needs to stand on a pressure plate to keep a door open while someone else goes to the other side to disable the whole thing entirely so that the rest of the team can proceed forward. There wasn't much variety in terms of puzzles, but I still appreciated that little inclusion and actually did feel reminiscent of some of the puzzles in Wasteland 1. I can just go on and on and on. I loved playing this game so much. I wanted to do absolutely everything there was. Every side quest, every area, every different pivotal choice, and I was not disappointed by the presentation, story, or the gameplay itself in any way, shape, or form. The game even had a ton of funny shit. Like there's lots of humor, especially when it came to like old 80s movie Easter eggs and throwbacks. It was so cheesy but so cool at the same time. Few games put a smile on my face the way Wasteland 3 has.
Good luck out there.
Rangers, come out and play!
Now, there are a few minor hiccups here and there, like sometimes a fellow teammate would foolishly run in front of you when you stop and try to disarm a trap, and then, well, boom. Or when NPCs from all over the place will annoyingly repeat the same fucking lines over and over and over again in quick succession just because you walked away slightly for like 1 second.
Things go well, I might be showing her my O face. Oh, oh, oh. You know what I'm talking about. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. You know what I'm talking about. Oh.
And also the fact that recruitable NPCs still don't really level up with you while they're waiting for you to recruit them, making it feel not suitable for your already established team. Lastly, there's this one time when I ended someone's suffering, and just as I thought he was about to die peacefully, this happens.
Thank you.
Zach, you gotta put me out of my misery. My stomach, it hurts too much. I don't know how much longer I could take it. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Many blessings.
What the hell was that all about?
But yeah, aside from that, this game is pretty much everything a Wasteland game should be and more. I highly recommend you go check this game out, especially if you're a die-hard fan of those old school, hardcore or turn-based RPGs. It's well worth your hard-earned $60. Thank you for watching.
The Gamer Gods!
No! Actually, don't thank you for watching. You really thought I was done here? I wish. Because I regret to inform you guys that this game has a big problem. It's actually kind of broken.
Sato is my hero. Never eaten this well in
And the Oscar goes to Crash.
This game crashes non-stop. Especially when you're in a place with a lot of NPCs, going through inventory, or visiting a shop. Sometimes it even happens during combat. I mean, the first few hours of the game start off perfect, but the farther you progress, the more and more it will crash. It got to a point where, about a third of the way through, I decided to switch the difficulty down to the easiest setting for the rest of my first playthrough, because what's the point of barely making it through a tough fight on a harder setting if you're gonna risk the game deciding to screw you over right as you're about to deliver a precision strike killing blow on like a giant Scorpitron or some shit. But that's not all. Among the crashes were a ton of other technical blunders, like these goddamn load screens. Literally every area transition means sitting through a fucking minute-long load screen, sometimes even as long as 3 minutes at a time. And you gotta love the fact that it always stops at the 33% mark, like there's something there, and it can't get past it. It just pisses me off. It's so tedious. It's so repetitive. And there was one instance where, like, I couldn't move, attack, end turn, or even fucking pause during a combat scenario, and my only solution was to force quit the game through the Xbox home menu. There's also an audio glitch where it happens whenever you're close to a Scorpitron. The audio just, like, glitches out completely. It's annoying.
Sister Nancy Reckoning, a Reagan-blessed arms dealer.
And last but certainly not least, there was a time where one of my rangers, Crash, get it? Crash?
Crash.
Would constantly keep smashing his body against cover over and over, non-stop, so aggressively, it shook the camera literally every fucking split second, as if there was a goddamn 9.0 magnitude earthquake happening endlessly. Like, what the fuck is going on here? What, is there a rave happening down at the Earth's core? There are likely other bugs I'm forgetting, and most of those only happened once or twice throughout my whole 40+ hour playthrough, so all in all, the bugs in this game were pretty forgivable, but the constant crashing and the tediously long load times are what almost made me quit the game a few times for good. They're the biggest reason why it took me such a long time to barely even beat it once, and one of the main reasons why it actually took me so long to put this review out. And I also wanted to wait a little bit to see if the developers would be able to patch out the game's load bugs and memory leaks. So at the time of this upload, I'm not really sure where the game stands in terms of quality, what the state of the game is currently at on console without going back to it. I'm gonna need to play it some more, but hopefully these severe issues can be resolved soon, if not already. The developers have also stated that disabling the autosaves would help reduce the crashing, yet even when I have the autosaves and everything disabled and set to none, my game still autosaves uncontrollably at times when I'm exploring, so yeah, that might be a whole other problem in itself. You know what the sad part about this is, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I do like these guys. I think they have amazing writers, have a good sense of humor, have a lot of passion, and they know how to make the foundation for a fantastic post-apocalyptic game. In Exile, the developers, I'm not sure that they know how to properly optimize a game for console, since apparently Wasteland 2 also suffered from crashing and game-breaking bugs at launch as well. But because of that foundation the game has, the concept and potential for it is still so strong. My overall impressions with it is still positive. It's frustrating as all living hell when it crashes, when it doesn't work, and when all shit goes south, but when it does work, its moments of brilliance outshine its own technical disasters for me. It's a broken game, there's no doubt about it. Yet, it's a phenomenal one at the same time. It has all the pieces of greatness. It has the potential to be like Game of the Year, even. It's like the new Vegas of this decade, you know? It's so broken, yet it has so many amazing ideas that's what draws the player in, despite all the bullshit. So while we wait for this game to load, I'm going to give my final score now. Now, very unusual, but this is going to be reflected entirely by me giving the people at In Exile the benefit of the doubt that they will continue to support and improve the stability of what could be the best game they've made so far. Wasteland 3 gets an 8 out of 10. It's a broken masterpiece, or as I call it, a disaster piece. It's a game that I recommend, but probably not right now. At least certainly not at full price, while the game itself isn't even fully functional. But for those who have Game Pass and like turn-based RPGs, though, this is definitely a must-try. And if you could, I'd also recommend playing it on PC. Chances are that version has much better optimization and crashes a lot less, but you never know. I certainly don't, but I hope so. Okay, alright, now I'm done. I hope you all enjoyed my review, and like always, thank you very much for watching. And I'm still waiting for the game to load. Any day now.